Jordan, you're probably not wrong. Sydney Drop Bears going to start this one off for Sky Industries. They're going to be attacking first. Athletico will be defending. It's going to be a long road here for Athletico. They want to bring this back.
Oh, okay. So this is something different. Bertlog's playing Farah. We've got a solo heals for a Kraken. What is going on?
We're just changing, Jordan.
I was just wondering if that was going to be like max BM from Sydney Drop Bears.
Aki in the sights here of Shoyo. Doesn't even know he's here.
Kraken's on to Soldier now. A lot of roster changes for Sydney Drop Bears, but let's see if they can make it work. Shoyo just gets out alive.
Yeah, no. But it's Aki who actually does go down first, and CKM's up here as well. A Kraken, though, playing on Soldier. Haven't seen much Soldier these days, but a Kraken is definitely making the most of it. Already up to 50% there. Here, Hammondai, well, first fight's going to go in favour of the Sydney Drop Bears, which means Objective A is theirs. Objective B is going to be in their sights right now.
Yeah, cool Sydney Drop Bears. Now do it with Bertlog on the Farah. That's what I want to see. Have you ever really thought about Soldier's jumping animation? It looks kind of weird, doesn't it?
Well,
like he doesn't really touch the ground before he jumps again.
Yeah, I guess it's true. I'm more concerned about the hamster in the giant ball thing. Like,
no,
if you're calling things
my
out.
suspension of disbelief works in that instance.
Right, but not in a way that a guy chooses to jump.
No. Big roster changes again from both sides. Sydney Drop Bears have gone back to GOATs, and so Athletico will follow suit as well. One thing that hasn't changed, though, is Shoyo, so that means EMP.
EMP is ready, and it comes out straight away onto 4. Only Zol and Evie survived that one. Aki very low. Starting to get healed up, though, as the EMP does wear off, but the Sydney Drop Bears have already found themselves 44%. Titawat, the first one to go down. Atar traded back. Sound barrier available for Evie and is used almost immediately there. Sydney Drop Bears looking to me like maybe they're going to try and safely fall back here, Jordan. Regroup, come through once again as a team.
Yeah. I think Sydney Drop Bears will actually be pretty happy with that. It's been an EMP. They got one tick out of it.
Oh, 65.7.
And Athletico used 2 ultimates as well just to push them back. Sydney Drop Bears haven't come out with nothing.
Self-destruct goes through. Huss picked up by Deep Build, and the other 2 followed up there by Zol. So if they were happy with the first fight, they will not be happy with that. Athletico, on the other hand, just starting to find their footing now. Jordan, they were sliding down the hill very, very quickly, and they grabbed onto that very last rock.
Yeah, that was a bit of a thinking face from Sydney Drop Bears. Huss was caught out of position. He didn't have his personal bubble available, so he sort of tried to make something happen as a result, but I don't know if that was the right idea. I think you just caught the L there for Sydney Drop Bears. That said, Huss does charge the EMPs generally pretty quickly, so he'll definitely have one up in a second or 2. EMP is going to be up here for Sydney Drop Bears as well. They have more than enough tools to actually win this fight. An EMP with a nice Earth Shatter down from Titawat is definitely going to be enough.
Yeah, it would almost certainly be enough to essentially win this fight. So that's how it goes through. EMP does come through. Shoyo straight onto the point, but you can see Aki was holding a little bit further back and is not affected by the EMP, is able to get that Transcendence off. Will it be enough? Probably not, though, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, Shoyo's just been having a good time holding down that left click button up to 43% of the EMP once again. Evie, the last alive for Athletico, at least the last that can do anything about this. The Sydney Drop Bears will cap up with a very nice time indeed. EMP too strong, and that is definitely how you manage to make Sombra Goats work very nicely. Shoyo putting on a bit of a display there.
Yeah, pretty easily done, and with 4 minutes 11 seconds on the clock. So normally you're given 4 minutes, Jordan, just to cap one objective, and they've done it in less than that. So not bad at all for the Sydney Drop Bears, though, to be fair. It's probably what we expected to see. Now for Athletico, what can they bring to the table? I'm hoping to see at least a double capture out from them, though the Sydney Drop Bears have been putting up quite a bit of a fight today. But I don't want Athletico to go home with nothing, Jordan.
Well, I think that's fair enough, Ben.
I want everyone to go home with the prize.
You want them to have a good time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
As it is at the moment, they've only got 1 map on the board in this season. And I did say last week, you know, at least there's not going to be a team that's going to go winless the entire season. Every single team now has actually picked up a map.
That's good.
And every team has also lost a map. So we're not going to have a perfect season. We're not going to have the worst possible season either. But for Athletico, you know, going through the entire season maybe with only the one map win is probably about as bad as going without a win at all.
You probably do want more than one map win, yes. I can agree with you on that. Across the whole season, across at minimum 28 maps, you probably want more than one.
I wish Aki would stop spamming.
Don't get mad.
That's not even the good one for
Zenyatta.
Zenyatta.
Have to be mad?
The good one is where he goes death, 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 death.
That could be a good song. You remixed it, mate. Anyway, ATAR coming out on the Farah. Looking for picks. Bertlock takes a bit of damage, but so far so good. Zol, though, on the other hand, right out there in the thick of things as well. Athletico trying to make their way onto the first objective. Looking, of course, for that first pick, and they're going to find it onto a Kraken. That's a great start. And Athletico followed up with the second. Titawat going to get chased down by ATAR. Manages to get back out. Athletico unable to follow this up with a second pick.
Well, it's really Sydney Drop Bears that need to respond with the next pick. CKM, nice use of the shield, does keep himself alive a little longer than you would have thought. Tradeback does come on to Zol, who will get demech, but is that enough for Sydney Drop Bears to stabilize on this first point? Aki forced away from the fight, isolated by that shield. Still a chance here for Sydney Drop Bears, but they keep losing players one by one by one, and they're not being able to trade them back.
And a boost on to ATAR. Didn't seem to be able to make too much of that. Self-destruct coming through from Shoyo also. Finds Evie, that's a big pick. ATAR picks up Shoyo whilst in Baby Diva form. Titawat has to get out of dodge as well. Four taken out by a Kraken. ATAR sitting on the barrage, but Athletico seemingly forced off the point here, Jordan.
Yeah, so the problem there again for Athletico, like you said, is that they're just not able to follow up with enough picks quickly enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Sydney Drop Bears, they were consistently losing players, but it was at a rate at which the respawners were returning to the fight. 5v6 for that whole time for Sydney Drop Bears, and then once they themselves get that first pick, the self-destruct, obviously a big part of it, it allows Sydney Drop Bears then to come back into it. And it's, I mean, it's crazy that they're actually able to hold on to that, but it really does speak to the weakness of Athletico, more so than the strength of Sydney Drop Bears in that instance at least.
EMP comes through with a big EMP. Aegis sitting on this rocket barrage still as well. And even though Titawat is using this Primal Rage, as it dissipates, you'd like to think that there's very little that Titawat can do to stem the tide. But look, the water's got a long way to go, Jordan, and the beach is very, very far.
All I'm going to say is if Sydney Drop Bears manage to hold this time, then it's going to be an absolute miracle. But
well, they're not.
Show you the last alive does go down.
5.5 minutes now on the clock as they head towards the second objective. It's going to be, look, tough up against what the Drop Bears have to work with here, which is 4 ultimates. Athletico sitting on 2.
Wouldn't be expecting this first fight to go the way of Athletico. Certainly not with the Graviton Surge now down as well. ATAR does some work with the Rocket Barrage. Gets 2. And the Nano Boost comes down onto him as well, so he needs to follow up with a little bit more.
Yeah.
And won't.
No. He's got no power. He's got no more to give here. The Drop Bears managed to bring it back. They threw, I think, 2-3 oldies into that, and they got the fight win. Athletico, on the other hand, they're going to be swapping up some of their team composition. Bring this back in, which makes perfect sense, obviously, now that they've lost a fight. Shoyo's like, no.
Just scouting, just scouting.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it.
Trying to bait some charge.
Yeah, he allows the Fire Strike to come through there from Titawat, getting the info early. Self-destruct forces Athletico back, but doesn't result in any kills.
The Drop Bears will drop the beat as well. D-Field and 4 going to get found out here by them. And, Athletico going to need to regroup after this fight. At least a relatively clean wipe, other than Zol there, who does get staggered just a little bit, but that is, again, the nature of the Diva.
Wasn't the worst of staggers, that is for sure. Okay. Not a bad fight for Sydney Drop Bears. Fairly clean, economically speaking. Us and Titawat coming up as well on the ults. Kraken the same. Nice job of rotating through for Sydney Drop Bears.
What with the Earth Shatter, I'm ready for the 360 Earth Shatter. Over the top, jump off, spin around. That would be the 500 IQ play with. But the reality is here, every fight that the Drop Bears take up here, where no one goes down, when time is wasted, is a good fight for the Drop Bears. So they will waste absolutely as much time as Athletico are willing to throw into that high ground fight that is inevitably not going their way. Earthshatter comes through, catches out a couple. The charge is followed up onto 4 as well. Transcendence popped here by Aki. 4 throws out his own Earthshatter. Doesn't really seem to catch anyone, but Zol has managed to find Shoyo. I'm not actually sure what Zol caught there, but anyway, we'll look at that one later. This fight, though, going Athletico's favour. They might be able to bring this back, get some points on the board, capture the second objective with time left on the clock. Yeah, definitely seemed like Sydney Drop Bears just got a little bit over-eager there. CKM does swap off onto the Hamster. Are they going to get there in time? Looks like they just will. Nice pile driver in. D-Field needs to die right now, but the sound barrier is down just in time. Great Athletico, timing. They might be able to do this now. Earthshatter going to come through. D-Field knocked down as well. The charge comes back out. CKM eliminated. Athletico find the point and do so with time left on the clock. Yes, it's not 4 and a bit minutes, but it's nothing to sneeze at. Should be about 2 minutes still remaining. Yeah, all it took there was one punch from CKM on that wrecking ball, but he just couldn't close the distance between him and the Brigitte in time. D-Field surviving. And Athletico, well, they put up the goods. 2 minutes and 20 on the clock. It's obviously still a little bit shy of the 4:11 that Sydney Drop Bears have. Yeah. But that sound barrier was super clutch from Evie. Perfect timing. Anyway, now into the overtimes. It'll be Athletico back on the attack once again. Ready for battle. I guess bare minimum you need to be capping out point A here. Yes, well, that would be the expectation, I suppose, with this sort of time. Definitely possible to get both, but it'd be one heck of a fight, that's for sure. Probably unlikely, particularly up against the Drop Bears. But Athletico at least have left themselves in a position that is a winnable position. It may not be the best position, but it certainly could be much worse. So now the pressure back on Athletico once again. As Jordan says, they'll be kicking it off on attack since their time is the lesser of the two. Drop Bears, on the other hand, I suspect will be looking for a full hold here on the first objective. Not going to be too easy, given what they're going up against, which is, again, that DPS composition, quote-unquote, counter goats. Sydney Drop Bears obviously don't have Hust on the McCree, so dealing with ATAR will be a difficulty. See to watch, just backing away. Buys a little bit of time there, though. 10-15 seconds. Don't complain about that. No, and again, when you're talking about only a couple of minutes, 10 to 15 seconds every once in a while can certainly make a difference. Athletico on the point, looking to capture it out. You see the Drop Bears sitting inside the room for now, waiting before they go back out onto the point. A Kraken getting taken out, or taken on by D-Field, should I say. He's forced to translocate back onto the health pack. Ball picked back up by Evie, but the point is not going in Athletico's favour. Not at the moment. No, the Drop Bears starting to get the better of them, and now only 1:23 remains. Atletico starting to run out of time, particularly if they are not going to have the ultimate advantage. Thing is, though, even if they don't have the ultimate advantage, if they take this next fight, force a few out from Sydney Drop Bears, then they come in for the final fight when the overtime is just going to tick away. That's where they're going to find their power play.
60 seconds.
1 minute left on the clock. There's enough time for 2 fights for Athletico if they engage now. At the very least, they need to force ults out from Sydney Drop Bears right now. They do. Potential here for D-Field and ATAR to combine with Aki as well. You'll see 2 of those come through, and here is ATAR waiting for that Q, not using it yet. Well, the Nano Boots went down on him for really no real reason in the end there, and it's going to be a wipe. Sydney Drop Bears, they did win that fight, but here's an opportunity for that Rocket Barrage. Transcendence just in time from a Kraken. Reads the play very nicely. Shoyo with the umbrella up as well. Great play, great read from the Drop Bears. Now 15 seconds on the clock. 4 has found Burt logged. Titawok going to be coming through though.
on the Wrecking Ball. Primal Rage is popped by 4. He's going to have to get onto the point and cue that overtime as well. It's going to be Zol, actually, who does that. Unable to get even 1 tick so far. And it may end up that way as well.
Certainly seems like it, man. Overtime ticking away, and everyone from Athletico down. So Sydney Drop Bears will hold strong on the first point for Skyer, which means they just need the 1 tick out of their 4 minutes. Yep. That's unfortunately for Athletico, I don't think enough being done. I mean, credit for being able to push Sydney Drop Bears that far, but close enough is not good enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely, again, still looking much better than what we saw in Nepal. Nepal was almost appalling, really, to be fair. And both Blizzard World and Volsky have been very different stories here for Athletico, but unfortunately, close enough is not good enough. Doesn't get you points on the scoreboard. Certainly not the one that counts when it comes to for and against. So they need to make something here, need to find something, and it's going to be tough on Volsky. Maybe we're going to have to wait for the 4th and final map for Athletico to have a shot to bring this back.
Didn't know that they put a picture of you in the game, Ben.
Well, I am very beautiful, so.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Where's this? Where do you think this is?
Somewhere with rocks. Looks like it's like almost near Gibraltar, Watch Point Gibraltar.
It could be. Could be the 12 Apostles, John.
Yeah, maybe.
But I doubt that. Anyway, the furniture is very nice here, though, isn't it? Look at this.
I'd have that in my house. If only to be able to sell it for some nicer furniture that fits with my
wow! So you could sell it.
Modern aesthetic.
Yeah, okay, mate.
Okay, Sydney Drop Bears, they wanted to go for something a bit fun again, but deciding to swap straight off. Tidawat, a little bit slower than everyone else, wanted to play some Wrecking Ball. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be GOAT's competition for Sydney Drop Bears. They're not messing around when it comes to potentially losing the map, or tying the map, I guess.
Yeah.
They don't want to really...
You don't want to give up those map wins.
It is a series win already, of course, for Sydney Drop Bears. No chance of a series win now for Athletico. Bare minimum a tie, but obviously Sydney Drop Bears want to get every map that they can.
That's it.
They lost the one to Mind Freak.
Coming into this series, I think both teams probably expecting the Drop Bears to win either way. It's just a matter of how it played out on score and how many maps, if any, Athletico could get. So, onto the point the Drop Bears go. D-Field force back as well. This is going a little bit better now for the Drop Bears as well than perhaps it did for Athletico. 4 has gone down. This is going to make the life real tough. Zol demeched as well, and that's a big, quick see you later, Jordan.
That's the worst feeling as a D.Va player, trying to duel against a baby D.Va and none of your shots are hitting or doing damage. Regardless, though, it doesn't matter. Sydney Drop Bears, they've done it. That's the series win quite comfortably, 3-0.
Yeah. And a relatively comfortable 3-2 there on Volskaya as well. However, as we said, good moments there for Athletico. They just need to string them all together. Yeah,
credit where credit's due. Obviously, you don't see most teams being able to take Sydney Drop Bears through to an overtime. So, again, better performance out from Athletico this time than what we saw on Blizzard World, which in turn was a better performance than what we saw on Nepal. So, as the series progresses, it's looking a little bit better and better for Athletico. It just doesn't feel like they're going to be able to catch up in time. All in all, Sydney Drop Bears, I liked what they were doing. I liked that they're changing up their compositions, trying to play something a little bit different. There was definitely some clutch moments out there from Athletico as well, which is what you need if you're going to have a position or possibility of beating one of the best teams in the region, if not the best team in the region.
Yeah, maybe there's something here, Jordan, where Athletico is just taking a little bit more time to come together as well, to gel as a team. You know, yes, players that have played together before on both sides of things, but when you combine them together, it can take a little bit of time for them all to gel. I think we saw that again from the Drop Bears on week 1, when they only had to change out their tanks. So these few changes for Athletico maybe has made Season 1 of 2019 a little bit tougher for them. But still plenty of weeks to start bringing it back, but they need to do it soon.
Definitely feels like there's a few teams that are struggling toward this start of this season, where we're kind of selling this storyline of X and Y teams need to probably turn it around right about now.
Yeah.
For Athletico, it kind of has to happen maybe next week, because this one's already a little bit too far gone.
Yeah, next week's the week.
But, you know, we're starting to get to the point where we're almost at the middle of the season. By the end of next week, we will have passed the middle of the season, and that's too late kind of to be turning things around. So while it's looking okay for Athletico, Is it coming too late? That's my question. But that's something I think that we have to answer next week. Watchpoint Gibraltar will be the next map here.
Yep.
And the final opportunity for Athletico to get a map on the board today.
To be fair, of everything we've seen today, Blizzard World, when we're in the escort phase, was probably the best that Athletico looked. And, well, this is all escort. So if you put that together with this, you come up with some crazy dessert that maybe tastes okay.
What?
We'll just have to pull the ingredients together. But it's a big ask.
Definitely is a big ask. Once again, it'll be Sydney Drop Bears that start on the attack. And Athletico have an interesting defensive setup. Double sniper. The Winston there as well. Obviously, you want Winston on the first phase of this map. There's a lot of high ground to contest.
Yeah. Not even going to get baited into that Drop Bears. Not even going to talk about your crazy lineup. Now not so crazy. Yeah, I'm ready for the snipers to work here for Athletico. Got to give something a try because Goats on Goats has not been working for them so far.
I thought D-Field was fairly effective on the Widowmaker back in Season 2. But if he's going to have an impact here or not is the next question. I don't know that it's going to work against the Sydney Drop Bears dive kind of a Winston Goats composition. It's just too much to chunk through. That was
a crazy, crazy play coming out from them there as well.
Yeah, I just don't know that Athletico have given themselves enough room now that Sydney Drop Bears have already progressed this far. Like, look at D-Field. Every time he peeks his head out around the corner, he gets slammed down to 50 HP. This Winston is just chasing him down. What does actually drop to the headshot of Atar, but it doesn't matter. Cap's already been secured by Sydney Drop Bears.
The Widowmaker certainly does not excel with a Winston in its face, that is for sure. And as you said, the Drop Bears successfully pushed the objective, or the payload, sorry, through to Objective A. Heading to the second phase right now. 5 minutes on the clock. The payload continues to move. Dragon Strike thrown out here by Atar. And Kraken finally goes down to D-Field. D-Field having a bit of a better time. As I say, that will get chased off the top of the ship there. The shuttle, I suppose. There's not much in the shuttle, is it? It's all payload. Must be able to carry a lot.
What does go quite low, has the Primal Rage, but decides to hang on to it. Sydney Drop Bears are going to give this fight up. Like you said, D-Field has a bit more success on this phase of the map. There is a little bit more room to work with, easier to camp those initial choke points.
No one can hide from my sight.
Infrasight going to be used now as well.
Well, Sydney Drop Bears want absolutely nothing to do with it. You can see they've fallen all the way back.
Yeah.
It's going to be over very shortly. D-Field won't get any value out of his ultimate, short of maybe wasting a little bit of time for Sydney Drop Bears.
As soon as the Infrasight goes down, Sydney Drop Bears are unleashed. The Graviton Surge available here for Haas as well. They're back onto the payload and it's moving forward. No one for Athletico wanting to contest right now. All a little bit wary. It's going to be 4 who pops the Primal Rage. And there has been so much damage going down into Athletico's Winston there, Jordan. Firstly, in normal form, then in Primal Rage. It must have been about 1,000 HP that was removed.
It just gets melted.
Yeah.
So does the rest of Athletico, to be fair. They just don't have the ability to stand up against Sydney Drop Bears when it's Goats versus that double sniper composition. As soon as the close fight is engaged, Sydney Drop Bears wins.
Primal Rage going to come out from Tidawat, who takes down 4. Actually, it's Bertlog who catches out the Winston here for Athletico. And there's not much they can do here on Objective B either. The payload will move forward in just a second as soon as Eevee does go down. Now there's going to be a ton of time for the third and final phase. 4.5 minutes here.
Tidawat actually gets the kill credit for D-Field there, so a nice little boost to his ultimate charge up to 25%, about 10% advantage. Looks like he's going to swap off onto the Reinhardt anyway, so kind of irrelevant in the end.
Kind of is, yeah. But the payload is moving, getting ever closer to Objective C. The Drop Bears looking unstoppable right now. Been a pretty good run for them so far today. Self-destruct over the top, doesn't want it to land on top of the bridge, which it does anyway, which dissipates half of the explosion, but the rest of the team's going to follow on through.
I mean, in that situation, it doesn't really matter too much if Shoyo gets picks or not. If he does, it's obviously ideal, but it provides enough space, allows Sydney Drop Bears to push forward, and they do exactly what they need to do with that space, and that's find a couple of picks.
Also means no one else can get up into the high ground to
will be
escape
here.
the rest of the team. Haas sitting with the grab, ready to throw it straight down on top of the Reinhardt. Forecourt out. They're not following up with any sort of real damage though, so a little bit wasted perhaps. Self-destruct comes through, as will the sound barrier here for the Drop Bears. But the payload is going a long way forward, and as you say, the Earth Shatter is available. Throws it through, catches everyone out. Oh, see you later. The Reinhardt's embrace as they fall off the edge of the cliff.
That's probably worth it actually for Athletico. 4 would have died anyway. Nicely done from Eevee. Not sure that it's going to be enough actually to hold on here though. The Sydney Drop Bears still, without their main tank, are having a good time in this fight. Shoyo, of course, doing a fair bit of damage there, and the respawn comes across for 4 quite a bit quicker than it does for Tita Watt anyway, but Sydney Drop Bears have such an advantage.
Bet you didn't see that coming.
I don't know. I don't blame. I love seeing the Reinhardts go off together. Any charge that goes off the cliff.
Off the map. Where's Bus when you need him?
Anyway, 2 minutes 55 still in the time bank here for the Sydney Drop Bears. Should they have to take a second shot?
It's a menacing time, isn't it?
It is. It's a lot of time. Let's be real, and it's enough, I think, to get through the first phase and halfway through the second, and then it's all gravy from there.
Big fan of gravy.
You like gravy?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have it on? Like a schnitzel or?
Just with any kind of roast.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, roast chicken. Pretty good with the old gravy.
Yeah. I like aioli.
Mm.
What's healthier?
I feel like gravy, probably.
Probably less oil.
Ready for battle.
Look, let's just have both. I'm fine with that. Athletico going to be looking to try and pull something out of nothing here. It's their turn to attack right now, and the Sydney Drop Bears have been looking very strong today, as was to be expected. But still, Athletico have a shot to find themselves a map, but it's a little bit tougher than what it was going to be before. They do successfully complete Watch Point Gibraltar. They're going to have another shot. The Drop Bears already have 255 in that time bank, so we'll see what Athletico comes out with here. Is it just going to be more goats? At the moment it doesn't look like it, but, you know, we'll see.
T-Field on the Ash, Atar with the Hanzo. Continue to want to play those long-range angles. How well that'll work, though, against CKM on the Widow remains to be seen. So a couple more threats here for Sydney Drop Bears with Huss and Shoyo on the Tracer and the Sombra, respectively. So triple DPS once again out for Sydney Drop Bears. Tita Watt to play on the Wrecking Ball. Standard stuff, really, when we've come to expect it now from Sydney Drop Bears.
D-Field trying to contest with the Ash up against CKM, and well, it's Atar actually who gets the better.
That's the worst feeling
of the battles. That was a nice play as well.
Good sleep
from D-Field, yeah. From the whole team, well played. But it's a lot of work just to get the payload moving, Jordan.
It is indeed. CKM has got the infra site available as well. Pulse Bomb will be here for Huss in just a second too. So Sydney Drop Bears do have a real good chance of recontesting.
Heal me.
CKM just waiting for some heals up. Spam through from Atar. CKM does not want to peek into that, but let's throw out the infra site now when Sydney Drop Bears wants to fully recontest. Pulse Bomb is lurking. Look at this for Huss.
Yeah, throws it through. Might get Aki. No, not this time around. Close but no cigar. Aki healed back up. Zol going to get DMAC though by Huss still. Shoyo coming out with the hack as well. Almost has EMP available. And if Athletico do start falling back, which they will, and they'll get found out whilst they do it as well. They're trying to fall back as a group, and it just did not work.
Imagine that, you just get slapped and then a ball rolls all over you. Not sure I'd be too comfortable from that particular Tracer. Nice defense though from Sydney Drop Bears. Knew what they needed to do. Knew that they could get out quite safely with the infra site. Pulse Bomb, while it didn't do any damage enough to kill any of the players, it was enough of a threat that Athletico tried to play around it and put themselves a little bit out of position.
Kraken goes down to Atar, so again, Athletico find themselves with a player advantage. EMP's come out, it's found 4 of 6, not bad. And Eevee goes down to Tita Watt, so it's a 1-for-1 trade Can the Drop Bears follow it up with something? No, it's Athletico who finds the next pick. That's CKM going down. The payload moving forward once again, ever slower. Huss lurking again. Has the pulse bomb ready again, but we know just how quickly you can get your ultimate ready here, Jordan. Throws out the pulse bomb whilst being nano boosted. Not going to find any picks there. And it's actually Atar who takes down a Kraken, finds Huss as well. So Athletico finally starting to get just a little bit of momentum.
Just a little bit. Is it enough, though? Dynamite will actually finish Shoyo off. I wonder if there's a chance for a recontest here from Sydney Drop Bears. Obviously, the Wrecking Ball is still in the fight. He'll get there in time, actually. And with the shield, should last all enough to allow the rest of the team to get back in here. D-Field almost gets clipped out there by Huss. That would have been fantastic. But no one on the payload. And Athletico will be able to keep pushing on forward.
3:15 on the clock. Objective A secured. Objective B is now in Atletico's sights, but it is a long way away. CKM has Infrasight available, waiting to get healed up potentially before using it though, and Bertlog going to get taken out by Zold. The Drop Bears with 2 ultimates. Neither of them will probably save the day right now. Atletico, on the other hand, looking okay. That Primal Rage would be very useful as well. Get the Dynamite coming through.
I love the amount of resources that's actually been put into dealing with CKM. Like, Atar has been spamming his angle for so long. Now they see the Dynamite thrown in there, so CKM evidently putting a fair bit of pressure onto Athletico right now.
Off. He's used the Infrasight, potentially thinking that now's the time to change. But look at this, Zol and 4 both finding picks as well. The Drop Bears going down very quickly here. And this second phase, which I thought might be a little bit difficult for Athletico to deal with, has actually been the quickest of the 2 so far.
Yeah, well now it's probably time for Sydney Drop Bears to swap off if this composition is not working, and they've also recognised that. Huss goes onto the Zaya, CKM onto Brigitte. Pretty standard stuff. Shoyo will stick around with the Sombra for the EMP, of course. Athletico making this one work. Atar pretty impressive on the Hanzo.
Marked by the dragon.
Waiting for a sneaky Dragon Strike. Do we drop down and throw it out? No, it comes out with the Storm Arrows first. Waiting for everyone potentially to group up. Oh, big EMP comes through as well, and Atar caught out by Titawat. D-Field very low, going to go down also, and quick fight win across to the Sydney Drop Bears.
Bertlog just trying to get as much damage in here as possible. Actually, really nice boop. Means that 4 will go down, can't get back into the spawn room. Crucial damage there for Bertlog, though. Does allow the sound barrier to build up a little quicker here, and Sydney Drop Bears are definitely going to need it in this next fight. Look at how many ultimates Athletico have got available.
I need healing.
They don't have big playmaking ones like the Graviton Surge or the Earth Shatter, but a Bob there and a Dragon Strike is definitely enough area denial, and not to mention, of course, the self-destruct as well, that you have to expect someone from Sydney Drop Bears will get picked off by one of them.
Self-destruct looking for a pick, not going to find anyone. The Drop Bears holding the high ground, funnily enough. They drop down now onto the payload. D-Field throws out Bob. You can see that the Dragon Strike is also coming through here. But no real picks coming out from everything that Athletico has literally thrown into this fight. The Drop Bears now have accrued all of their ultimates on their own side of the field, and they're holding strong here. Atletico probably going to be forced to fall back, fall quite low, considering D-Field actually the one who goes down. Yeah. Atar found out also. So the Drop Bears get a very good fight when considering they didn't really have the resources to survive through that, but do so anyway.
That's going to be a big problem for Athletico, that they can't actually manage to find those picks, and it does mean, unfortunately, for Athletico that they have to swap off with only 1:44 left on the clock. You could probably argue that they needed to do this one fight earlier to be able to really be quite comfortable in getting the big ultimates up. Atar will need to have a good couple of fights here if they want to have grabs before the end of this map.
Well, grabs come down. Aki pops the Transcendence in response, though. Sound barrier for the Drop Bears. That's 1 for 1 in terms of support ultimates. Nanoboo's going to come out also there, I think, onto Titawat. And but it's all CKM to go down. Titawat goes low, gets healed up. Atletico finally looking better now when they don't have any ultimates to work with than what they did before when they had so much utility on their side. Both Winstons going down. Shoyo with the high ground here. Haas trying to get into the thick of things, but he could find himself caught out as well. Still alive for now. Great work from the team. Titawat going to swap over across to the Reinhardt as they get ever closer. 4 has done the same. The payload now moving through here, Jordan. It's getting close.
Super important for the grab to come out here early from Haas or from Atar. Whoever can get it out first might just win the fight. Self-destruct is down from Zol. That'll deal with Haas. There's no trade backs coming out from Sydney Drop Bears. Atletico looks like they might just be able to finish this one off.
Yeah, they are getting very close. Can they do it with time remaining? That's the real question. Tita goes low, stays alive, drops back in. No, does not get into the healing zone in time. Zol follows it up.
Respawns.
Now shield, no shield available here for the Drop Bears, but they do have the sound barrier. You can see Atletico about to run out of time. Transcendence pop first. Evie holding onto the sound barrier. Someone, of course, needs to be on the car. No one on the car right now for the Drop Bears. A Kraken can't get back in time. And Atletico sneaking through with a couple of seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, only a couple, but it's enough. And to be able to get that one through all three, actually, against Sydney Drop Bears. Again, pretty impressive on the attack there from Atletico. It was 2 minutes 55 that Sydney Drop Bears had. So I think there was probably about 5 seconds left there for Atletico based on the time bank that Sydney Drop Bears got there.
You did the math, yeah?
Done the math.
All right. Hopefully you didn't need to calculate it for that one, Elfishguy, but looking good to me. As we said before, a minute. Look, I feel like Watchpoint Gibraltar can be that sort of interesting map where a minute is enough to get around that first corner, and you can kind of just sit on the payload, and if you can get a little bit of a momentum, it can be difficult to stop. But 1 minute compared to 3 minutes 50 are vastly different amounts of time.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
1 minute.
What do you think about this so far, Jordan? It kind of feels to me like, you know, Atletico, yeah, they're not winning, but...
Yeah, I think Atletico...
Yeah. It's not the decimation that I expected coming into this.
No, definitely not. I actually have been pretty impressed with Atletico, how well they've performed against Sydney Drop Bears today. I thought this was going to be sort of like a 20-minute done and dusted for Sydney Drop Bears, like we have been used to seeing in seasons of old, where they just kind of knock over their opponents with no real problems at all. But Atletico have definitely given Sydney Drop Bears a run for their money here today. Again, I will say it hasn't looked like Atletico have been in a position to win any of these maps.
Yeah.
But the fact that Sydney Drop Bears are actually being forced to play so many overtimes is definitely impressive in its own right for Atletico.
I can't help but wonder if it's a direct result, though, of the Drop Bears playing some interesting team comps. We always see them come back, though, to GOATs when it really matters.
It's true.
But this time around, the payload's moving. The Drop Bears lost a couple of players. Atletico find themselves in a better position. They're onto the payload looking for the first objective. They need at least the first objective here if they're going to come out a Watchpoint Gibraltar on top.
Do not disagree with you at all. At the very least, they need to get very close to that first objective. It is possible to hold under the bridge and around the corner here on Watchpoint Gibraltar on the first defense, but if you aren't able to do that, then definitely it's a problem. Sydney Drop Bears already have lost DKM in this fight. A Kraken coming up on the Transcendence, but it might be a little bit too late. Having lost so much, the trade backs are coming. D-Field being put under pressure as well. Res onto Atar now. That brings another player back into the mix.
This could be crucial. Bob can jump on the payload as well. This might be able to help. D-Field's going to use Bob to take out Haas. Primal Rage pop by Tita. You can see the Sydney Drop Bears do not want to give up this first
Where's
objective.
the big Shoyo bomb?
Boom.
Well,
Evie's gone down as well. So this might be enough, Jordan, for the Drop Bears to stop them in their tracks before Objective A is secured here for Atletico.
Yeah, I think it might be. Shoyo fragging out toward the end here. 4 goes down to him as well. So too does Aki. That's 4 kills in the last few seconds. The way of Shoyo. A good hold from Sydney Drop Bears. Like I said, Ben, probably need to be getting it around the corner as a position that you can try and defend. It's not so easy to defend that ramp. You know, another 10 or 15 meters, it was, I mean, not necessarily ideal, of course, for Atletico, but definitely better than where it is now.
Initiating match.
Sydney Drop Bears, 3 minutes and 50, you really have to imagine that this one is going to be finished off.
Yeah, looking very much like this could be a 4-0 to the Drop Bears, but not a quick 4-0, Jordan. We say a quick 4-0 every once in a while, and today hasn't been one of those days. Can't help but feel if the fight we've seen from Atletico today was given in previous weeks, results may have been different.
Maybe so.
Anyway, look, as long as we know now that they can perform at sort of this potential at a minimum, maybe in weeks to come, they'll start finding their feet a little bit more. Maybe today, maybe it has taken this long to find their feet as a team.
it really does mean that the bottom end of Contenders this season is going to be quite interesting. It's going to be quite a tussle because, look, all of the teams that we've seen play that we expect to be toward the bottom there, you know, like Mindfreak, Legacy have both put in good performances, good enough performances at the very least. Athletico dropped down into that position in my mind as well after losing their first 2, but now they're starting to come good. Ground Zero also starting to come good, so it's a real jostle between those 4 teams. And then sort of Blank and Melbourne Mavericks, which we'll get to see tomorrow, jostling for maybe 3 and 4.
Oh, bye.
That didn't last for very long, did it? But for D-Field, it did.
Yeah, for D-Field, it's still here. They're like, what?
I mean, they're going to try and cheese the win.
I would love to see Bastion up against Bastion, to be perfectly honest.
Tito does not like seeing Bastion. It's one of the worst things that you can see when you're a Winston. There's really nothing you can do against him. You have to rely on your team.
Well, thankfully, I was going to say thankfully for Tito, his team is pretty damn good, but it will not stop him from getting picked up the first time around. Still sitting nice and safe behind this Orisa shield. Second time around, also quite healthy. The payload, though, doesn't need to go far to get close to the objective, does it?
Now D-Field's wondering, where do I actually position myself here, because he can't cover all the angles. Sydney Drop Bears will be able to get close in some way, shape or form. One small advantage is at least the tank form has come up.
Yeah, look, configuration tank is definitely lets you move, and it can do some damage, but it's not lots of damage.
Not quite enough. Well, it is a lot of damage, just not enough. In that instance, D-Field once again back into turret mode, but there's too many targets to deal with. Graviton Surge now out from Husk. He does fall down, but it's going to be enough to keep the Athletico guys off the payload. The cap comes across.
Jordan, GG. Congratulations to the Sydney Drop Bears. Another 4-0 for them. Athletico, unfortunately, not able to find themselves a map today, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. There were some good moments there from Athletico as well. And, you know, if you take the top team in the region to overtime like they did today on a couple of occasions, it gives me hope for the rest of the season for this Athletico lineup. And
even to an extent, Blizzard World was about as close as it's going to get without being pushed into the overtime. The only real clean, solid map there, I thought, actually was Nepal for Sydney Drop Bears. I mean, all of them were comfortable, but they weren't just utter domination, which is a little bit more what I would have expected going into this matchup. Athletico, it's a nice little turnaround from the last couple of weeks, even though it's sort of the same result for them. The way that they lost is much better, which is obviously something to be quite proud about, or be happy about at least. You're showing that progression. I think if we saw Legacy and Athletico this week as opposed to last week, it could have definitely been a different result based on what we saw from both teams today.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The Athletico of Week 3 would have taken it to the Legacy of Week 2, that's for sure. So, look, I'm glad we got a little bit of Bastion play, even if it was not for long and not on the payload. But I'll take what I can take, to be honest. But the Drop Bears, more points on the board for them. I think they'll be locking themselves in, securing themselves at the top of the leaderboard at the end of this week. And unfortunately for Athletico, they're still probably going to be at the bottom of the scoreboard by the end of this week as well. So those two are probably givens at this point.
I think that much is fair to say. Look, sometimes it's just not your week. Maybe that was the case for Athletico in the last couple. Looking forward for them, there's still 4 more games to play, still 4 more potential wins on the board. Some of them definitely tough matches ahead, but you know, if you could win maybe even 3 out of 4 of those, you're still going to put yourself probably quite safely within that top 6. And I think that's where most of the teams are going to be looking for, because that's where the playoffs is going to come from. But for Sydney Drop Bears, you know, it's kind of a standard day at the office, business as usual. Another 4-0. Put that one in the checkbook. Another
4-0. Another Macca's play of the game for the Sydney Drop Bears. Let's take a look. A McDonald's Australia play of the game as the Drop Bears up against Athletico. Big diva bomb from Shoya coming through, finding the goods. We called it at the time. Talk us through this play, Elfishguy.
Yeah, I actually want to give this one to Tito in a way, because if you notice, it's his charge right there that boops for out of the way. The shield not in a position to cover off EV, ATAR and D-Field. And there comes the big 3K Diva Bomb out from Shoya. Pretty cool interaction. Always like to see those kinds of boops and maybe shield bashes, those kinds of things that force the Reinhardt shield out of the way, because that's really cool teamwork.
Well, that's it, right? Most of the good Diva Bombs come through because there's a good play coming out from someone else
Yep.
on the team as well. And
Exactly.
that's exactly the case here.
Yep, that's what happened for Titawat. So nicely done. Coming all the way from Thailand, I think it is, and being able to pick up his first Macca's player of the game in week number 3.
Very proud,
Can't
right?
complain about that at all.
Yeah, you'd be feeling good. You'd be feeling good for sure. So,